What's up YouTube, this is Gozen, and I'm here with a deck profile. This one is going to be called Synchrons, or Synchros, whichever you prefer. I'll probably be putting a slash in the front of it, so another thing is probably I'm going to say like 2012 ban list, because, I guess they really haven't, Konami or whoever does it hasn't really made any changes since 2012, and clearly, well, that's 2013, but, just bear with it. It's not that big a deal. Alright, so, another thing, I'm really sorry for just, using my hand. I do not own a tripod. In my last videos, I just, used objects and whatnot to balance, my camera, and, I guess that only really worked once. I found a bunch of objects, and I tried a lot of different ways, and it did not work. So, anyways, enough talking. I've been talking for a minute. Let's get on with the review. Alright. So, first of all, we are playing 3 Quickdraw Synchron. This guy is probably, the best monster in your deck. Synchro-wise, he can dump things like, Dandylion, he can dump Quillbolt, and, I would suggest it, but, if you're going for Quasar, you of course can do something else. He can dump Level Eater most of all. And he's probably, as I said, the best card for Synchro-wise. We got 3 Junks Synchron. Usually I would only suggest summoning him if you have a level 2 or lower, like Quillbolt. And don't force Quillbolt's effect, just use him. We're playing 3 Level Eater. And I think 3 Level Eater is pretty good. I would never do 2 Level Eater or anything like that, because I think the problem with this deck is the low amount of monsters. And I think 3 is perfect. And if you want to, there's also another monster. He pretty much has the same design as Level Eater, and that is called Level Warrior. And he can pretty much just change his level from 1 to 3, and it's pretty good for syncing, especially has a good combo with Junk Warrior. And I guess another thing to dump with Quickdraw. Alright. We have 2 Unknown Synchron. You can replace one with a thing called Changer Synchron. He's pretty much a machine and a tuner, just like Unknown Synchron. Only thing is that he can, or once he's used for a Synchro summon, he can change your opponent's monsters to attack or defense. Alright, we have 2 Synchron Explorer, 2 Quillbolt Hedgehog, 2 2 Effect Failure. We're doing 1 Dandylion, of course. I would never have 2. And we're doing 1 Dopplewarrior, and I would never ever think of 2 Dopplewarriors. I think 1 is plenty. I seem to draw them all the time. I don't know, for you of course can change it. It's your thing, or your deck. We have 1 tuningware. He's good for drawing cards, especially if you go into a Formula Synchron, which is when he's summoned, you get to draw a card too, so get your cards. We got Cyber Dragon. He is good for pretty much just going for those easy level 8s, and I really like it. Alright, so here are the spells. We are playing 3 Tuning. This is your searcher of the deck, and I really like it because it's not a monster like most decks. It is a spell. Just like Chaos Dragons, I guess you could say Charge of the Light Brigade would be your searcher of the deck. Only thing different is that once you get your Synchron, I don't know if you can see that clearly, you get to mill a card, and that's pretty good because a lot of the cards in your deck run by just being summoned from the graveyard, so that's really good. We got Pot of Avarice. We got Foolish Burial. Mind Control, I love this. Take your opponent's monsters and sync with them, or if you really want and you have Quasar already out, and they only have 1 monster, go for a direct attack, and that would be pretty good. Of course. We got 2 MST. If you just play in the local tournament, like at, or whatever local tournament you are. And you know most people's decks by now. I wouldn't suggest citing this in. I would suggest signing this in instead, and just immediately right off the bat, switch these out with a card called Prohibition. You probably know it. If not, just search it up. And as an example, like if you know they're playing Prophecies, then declare Sorceress of Prophecy or anything like that, and Prophecies be gone, because Prophecies are mental. Alright, we're playing Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole. Sorry, my voice is a little crackly. Reinforcements of the army. Alright, those are spells. Let's get on to traps. 7 tools of the bandit. I'm gonna get to this later, and why it is such important concept to have in your deck. I think if you're going to run this deck or any sort of cards or anything like that, you run this. If you have this card in your extra deck, I don't care what the rest of the cards are. If you have this card and you're able to summon it in any way, you have 7 tools of the bandit. I cannot stress enough. Like, I would even suggest having 3. And the 7 tools is actually used to counter this Solemn Warning, but have it in the deck because it is a pain. We got Torrential, Fiendish Chain, Deep Prison or Dimensional Prison, Bottomless Trap Hole, Mirror Force, and Compulsory. Alright. On to the extra deck. You're playing Shooting Quasar Dragon. Here is the reason where 7 tools of the band comes in. Let me just read his effect real quick. Must be synchro summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card's maximum number of attacks per turn equals the number of non-tuner monsters used as synchro material. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can negate the activation and destroy it. When this card leaves the field, you can special summon 1 Shooting Quasar Dragon from your extra deck. This is pretty much the Synchro God. I'm like right here. I mean, if I could, I would go over the name with a Sharpie and like write Synchro God, just because of how powerful this guy is. Like, this guy seriously could be like an Egyptian god in some ways. Like, but I mean, of course, I wouldn't go over with Sharpie because he's so damn expensive. But I mean, besides that, I mean, let me explain the 7 tools. You use this to counter this. Alright, let me explain. Solemn Warning is Shooting Quasar Dragons and this entire deck's worst nightmare. So, in order to synchro summon already, you need to use monsters, which you got from the graveyard. It's kind of hard sometimes. Sometimes it's really easy. But either way, if you get a Solemn Warning from a synchro, all those monsters you just used are gone. And it's more of a fail when you summon Shooting Quasar Dragon. Here's why. Solemn Warning never hits the field when somebody uses Solemn Warning. I mean, and let me just explain why that is such a fail. It negates the summoning pretty much. So that means you can't negate it, because Shooting Quasar Dragon never hit the field to negate it. He can't. You can't get out Shooting Star Dragon when he leaves the field because he never got on the field. And that just sucks because, I mean, to get Shooting Quasar Dragon out, you need to use at least 2 Synchro monsters and Formula Synchron, which is pretty much the only tuner Synchro monster in this extra deck. And that's pretty much, you got rid of something like Road Warrior, you got rid of Junk Warrior, you got rid of Formula Synchron, and all the other monsters you just used. And most of all, you got rid of Shooting Quasar Dragon. All because of this one card right here. And I mean, that is just such a bummer when that happens. I've had it happen to me, and I just scoop immediately. And it's because I just can't go through the duel when I get Quasar Dragon, and then I'm being cock-blocked by freaking Solemn Warning. I mean, it just sucks so much. So, have these to negate these. It helps so much. I've had it before, and I got Quasar with it. Plus, he got rid of 2,000, and I only got rid of 1,000. So that helps. Alright, I've talked long enough. Let's get on with the deck. Right, we got Star Dragon and Stardust Dragon, pretty much this guy's predecessors, as I like to call it. Scrap Dragon, you can, I actually suggest switching this out with Junk Archer, but, I mean, I only have Scrap Dragon around and filled that extra 15 space, so, we got Road Warrior, Junk Destroyer, Junk Berserker, Black Rose Dragon, Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth, shaking the camera around, sorry, Junk Gardna, Junk Warrior, TG Hyper Librarian, Allied Justice Catastor, Armory Arm, I like to go into him a lot, and, of course, Formula Synchron. Alright, that is pretty much the extra deck, and I guess the rest of the deck too, so, I guess that's it for the review, but, I just can't stress enough, have the, or not that, have the Solemn Warnings and the 7 Tools of the Bandit. You want to negate that. I mean, I guess I'm just going to show the mascot of the deck right now, and, I mean, I can't stress enough, have that, and, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Leave a comment, on how you think this build is, and if you think I should add anything. I think that's it, yeah. Alright, see you, YouTube.